Class teachers and students. Please be seated. Thank you. Right, in our last lesson we looked at some of the changes. You brainstormed some changes. You drew a mind map of some changes that were about Earth. The changes caused to the surface of the Earth. So let's see some of the changes that we have looked at yesterday. All right. We'll have Fred to give us the first one. Fred. Then we have Laka and Emmanuel. Okay, Fred, give us.
Landslide.
Ready?
Landslide.
Landslide, very good. Thank you. Laka?
Weathering. Weathering.
Weathering? Emmanuel. Thank you, Laka.
Developments. Developments.
Developments, okay. Jason?
Climate.
Climate? Okay, any others that we did not look at yesterday or we did not write down yesterday? Any others that we did not look at in our last lesson? Any cause that changes the Earth's surface? Robert?
Earthquake.
Earthquake, very good. Okay, then we have Natasha. Thank you, Robert. Natasha?
Tsunami.
Tsunami. All right, the last one, we have Oa.
Plate tectonics.
Plate tectonics, okay. All right, let's have a look at this few that we have listed down. Right, weathering covers a lot of, let's have a look at weathering and development. We have landslide, earthquakes, tsunami. Climate also is a very big word. Weathering and developments. So let's have a look at that. Now let's have a look at developments. What do we mean, or what is included in developments when we say developments? Emmanuel, give us an example of a development that changes the surface of the earth.
Man-made interaction with the earth. Man-made interaction with the earth.
Interaction.
With the earth.
Man-made interaction with the earth. Okay, what kind of interaction? An example.
Construction or mining.
Okay. Construction. All right, construction of construction of new towns, new cities, new places, or construction of large industries that changes the land's formation or changes the surface of the land, one portion of the land. All right, weathering. Let's have a look at weathering. Who gave us weathering? Laka, can you give us an example of weathering?
Natural disasters. Natural disasters. Flood. Flood.
Flood. All right. Flood caused by heavy rains, storms, and many more. Can we say tsunami is also part of weather? Yes, tsunami is also part of the weather. So tsunami also causes changes. We had one experience in our own country, so we know what tsunami is. Tectonic plate movements. Freddie, would you like to explain? Sorry, Owa. Tell the class how tectonic plate change the Earth's surface.
Earth crust. Earth crust.
The Earth's crust, okay? The Earth's crust is the surface, is this first layer of the Earth structure, and beneath it there are what scientists believe as plates. The whole land mass has plates, so there are tectonic plate movements. We don't feel them, but they are constantly moving under our feet, and that is what scientists believe. That they are made of slabs of rock, and they are constantly moving. So, for example, if we have, may I use the exercise book? So there are two tectonic plates, which you will study later on, but I'll just show you an example. There are two plates which are moving. If they are moving at the same time, they may cause. So we have one tectonic plate and the other. So if they're moving against each other, they bump into each other. And this causes, let me change this way. So when they move slowly, constantly, this causes the earth to rise, the surface of the earth to rise, or to sink. If they rise, then we have the formation of new mountains or hills. If they sink, we have trances, or big trances in the Earth's surface. Anyway, thank you for all those answers. But our question for today's lesson: who changes this, or who changes the Earth? So teachers and students, we are still on the same strand, the substrand, and the same outcome. our topic for the lesson today is who changes the earth? Now, we've looked at some causes that change the earth's surface in our last lesson, and briefly today in the beginning of the lesson. The activity today is you will have discussed with your friends. There are a few pictures which I will show you, and you will be given time to work on each of these pictures. Discuss with your friend and decide whether it is man-made cause or a natural cause to the pictures that will be shown. So, receiving students and teachers, have your books ruled, students, and write down or draw a table, a simple table like this to go through as we go through the lesson. So first column should be the cause. The cause that is the cause that is shown by the picture. Your second column should be to identify whether it is man-made or a natural cause. So in the first cause, you write down what kind of cause, or the picture shows, what kind of cause is shown in the picture. I'll give you 30 seconds to copy down or draw a table. Once you have finished, you may sit up straight. Sit upright so I know you have finished. Do not rule the rows. This is an example. I have three rows. I have 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3. But there are actually five pictures that you will go through. So, six pictures which you will go through to identify as natural or man-made cause. So I have only 3, but you draw up 3 more to make 6 rows. Okay. That is our instruction number 1. Minol, can you read us the instruction for the class? For the activity. Read the instruction. Loudly.
State whether the change is normal or man-made.
Very good, thank you. First picture, are we ready for the first picture? Okay, our first picture, causes to the changes to the cause to the change cause to the Earth's surface changing. Picture number 1. Done? Picture number 2. All right, picture number 3. Ready for number 4? Picture number 4. Make sure you state whether it is man-made or natural at the same time. You can be discussing with your friend. There's no problem at this time. Already number 4 and you're still on number 1. Answer this too. Answer this column too. You're supposed to answer this column. Okay, the next picture, picture number 4. Sorry, picture number 5. Thank you. Right, one of you mentioned that in the beginning of the lesson. Picture number 6 and the last one. Now, you've gone through all these pictures and you've identified whether they are man-made or a natural cause that changes the surface of the earth. So our second question I would like you to discuss in your group for a minute discussion. And look at how this causes can affect. You and me are living things on this planet, the earth. So your question is, how would this affect living things on earth? That includes you and me, the plants, and all the animals and insects. I'll give you 1 minute to discuss and another minute or so to write down your answers. So if there's a tsunami, how does it affect you and me and the animals and the plants? If there is a mining going to take place in our area, what would happen to us, to the people living in that area, to the plants and animals? You can discuss. You can choose one of the cause and talk about it. So choose one cause and talk about the effect it will have on living things. I'll give you another 2 minutes to discuss and write down the effects of one of the causes. Good. Our 2 minutes is up. Let's have, before we go through the answers on your discussion, let's have a look at our table and check our table on the cause. Let's identify whether it is natural or man-made. So let's have Samuel, the first one to give us, tell us, identify whether river erosion is a cause or is caused by man or is it natural. Emmanuel, then we have Michaeline. Samuel.
Natural. Natural.
All right, Samuel says this is natural. Okay, river erosion is natural. Michaeline? Number 2, destruction by cyclone. Cyclone is natural. It is not caused by man. In some places it happens frequently. In other places it may happen once or rarely. All right, next person. Thank you. Michael and Vanessa, please. Third one, logging. Is it man-made or natural?
Man-made.
Very good. It is man-made. We all know it is man-made. So if we have logging in our areas, we see most of the trees cut down. What happens to the soil when the tree is cut down? It is soft, and then the rain pours, and what happens? Flood, and what happens to the soil? Sends down. Who sends it down? Goes dry, yes, and the rain and wind blows it away, and fertile soil just goes down the river, and we have a very bare land. Anyway, let's come back to volcano. The fourth one. Robert. After Robert, we'll have Victoria.
Natural cause.
Volcano.
Natural cause.
Thank you. It is a natural cause. Victoria? The last one, Jason.
Natural.
Flash floods. It is natural. Heavy rains and storms may have produced flash floods that can wash down trees and wash away houses downstream. Mostly dangerous are the ones living beside mountains. All right, Jason. The last one.
Man-made.
Right, mining. In the picture you saw, it was the surface mining. There are different types of mining. So this is a surface mining where they dig on the surface and down towards the center of the earth. They don't reach the center, just at the top of the crust. Thank you, Jason, and thank you for students for those answers. Let's have the effects on living things. Now let's have one or two groups to present. Tell us what are the effects from one of the courses they have chosen to discuss in their groups. So let's have one group to present to us what course you have chosen and what are the effects on of that course.
Surface in mining.
You chose mining, effects of mining. So what does mining do affect, how do mining affect living things? Or how does mining affect you?
What
water pollution.
Very good. It pollutes the riverways, water pollution. When water is polluted, pollution is one way that is also damaging to the surface of the earth. Some rivers contain chemicals that burn down soil, kill plants, and kill the animals. Let's have the next group. All right, thank you for the answer. Anyone from the group, Laka and your friends? Tyrone?
Shortens the land and spoil the looks of the environment.
What cause is that?
Mining.
Mining, okay. Spoils. How does it shortens the land?
By mining.
Can you tell us how it shortens, when you say shortens the land, when you say shortens the land, what do you mean by shortens the land? Does it make it small or make it big or thin, or what do you mean by shortens the land? Shortens the land for what? All right, we'll come back there. I think shorten the land means to have less land for the people, I think. Yes or no? Is that right? Is that what you are thinking? Or maybe you can tell us later. All right. You have a lot of effects on each of the courses that you have chosen, which you have listed down. So after the lesson, teachers, you may go through with your students on each of the courses that change the surface of the earth, and have a look at the list of effects that the students have provided or have written down. Right, our summary for today, two summary points which you would like to copy that from the pictures that we have seen, and from your group discussion you have two summary points. Our key phrase for today's lesson is natural and man-made change. Our next lesson, teachers, will be on Mr. Moon. Right, you can go back home and ask your parents or your grandparents if you have any stories or stories they tell you about the moon. I'm sure that you have a lot of traditional stories about the moon. So teachers, please provide the following materials for your lesson. And that will be all for our lesson today. Thank you, 6E. Thank you, teachers and students. Thank you very much.